And now you have it back.
I'm going to do this. There we go. Wow, as that starts, presentation start. Oh, okay, no thanks. That's part of my show. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now everything seems to be reasonably copacetic, and good evening, everybody. Hey, shall we start, Raj? It's past the magic hour, so we should start. It's welcome, everybody. It's the Sunday night webinar, 2019. Oh my goodness, edition. And we're glad you're here. I'm Gene Colbago.
And I'm Roger Carroll, in a whole new year.
Yeah, oh yes. And like I say, we're glad you're here. Anyhow, well, we hope we have some interesting things for you tonight. And, you know, I'll tell you this, Raj, mine are all over the place. I have some things. I have two items, and my first item is something that comes from about, I don't know, 6 months or last year or a year ago that we started, that we had a problem with, or an issue with, or whatever, that I couldn't understand why it was happening.
I'm going to start the recording.
I have it being recorded according to me.
Oh, I just started it.
I have it. It says my session is being recorded here.
And I just started it.
Oh, we're going to have two recordings.
Excellent.
Okay. Anyhow, let me. What is this? Lapse the ribbon. How do I end this thing?
Escape.
Okay, we're here. I gotta, excuse me. Hey, anyhow, let me mess around here. Some time ago, when we were using PowerPoint, and this is a very stupid thing. This is a PowerPoint slide. And this is something that you can use with PowerPoint, by the way. We were experiencing some subtitles, and I couldn't remember where the heck they came from or how I had gotten them. So I finally realized that today, Raj, after all of this time. It's been about 6 months. So what I'd like to do is show you, to start it off with tonight, is something that if you're using PowerPoint, first of all, I know that most of you would never put that much text in there, but I did this just to show you this. When you are in PowerPoint, there are several things that you can do. Number one, if you go over to Slideshow, okay? The first thing that you can do, strangely enough, I don't know if there's anybody out there who is a language teacher. There, if you go over here, over to the right, there is a box in the ribbon, Translate Slides, and if you click this, if you click another language, I have English. What do you want? Spanish? Okay, we'll go Spanish. Translate Slides.
That says Swedish.
Is it Swedish? Well, hey, that's cool to me. Oh, okay. Swedish, even better. Well, my finger is not moving well. The first thing it will do is it will save a copy of each one. Look at that. The slides on the, or the language on the PowerPoint is now in Swedish. You can, I'm not sure what it says, I'm not sure how it works. It does save your English version, so you're not losing that as well, okay? It is still saved. I don't know where, there it is there, okay? But it's under Slideshow, and you can translate it to whatever you want. Not only that, there is a another thing you can do called.
Well, you did the translate.
Yeah.
But there's that box there for always present with
Oh,
subtitles.
yes, we're going to show you this right now.
Okay.
Okay, start subtitles. Okay, and now, what would you like the subtitles in? Spanish, next. Okay, actually, there we go. And this does this, okay? All right, everybody, hello. How are you doing tonight? And it puts subtitles in whatever language you want underneath it. Anyhow, now, right now, I'm going to end the show, but because it's showing, let me get rid of this, it's showing those, but I can start from the beginning. There's the regular slideshow that I had, and it will start again. It's supposed to start.
Okay, we have a question.
Yes.
Gene.
Yes.
End the slideshow. Now go back to Swedish or Spanish, whichever one we had.
The translate slides, sure. Okay, what language would they like? Anything in particular?
Let's try Spanish because it's.
Oh, yeah. Well,
may or may not
that's
work.
the one that I missed. Yeah, I hit before. Okay,
Yeah.
Spanish.
Okay.
Translate. The first thing it does is I'm saving it on my desktop. It will save the PowerPoint with the name of the show, but instead of English, it'll say Spanish, ES Español. And I'll hit save, and then it will change it to Spanish.
Now,
Yes.
does the immersive reader work with it? That's the question.
Holy criminy. Now, where do we, okay, where would that is
You would
in
go to
view.
Try View.
Yeah.
And
reading view.
yeah, that's not it though.
It's not in reading view.
No, Reading View would.
Okay, I thought it was still. Okay, by the way, notice now down below, I'm going to have to kill this.
You're not doing the subtitles.
I'm going to kill the subtitles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me stop. Okay, we're at view. And I do have the immersive reader. Where would that be?
I'm with you. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the immersive reader is now here.
Now, what version?
This is the latest update for my own personal Windows, Office 365.
So it should be here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Try Review. I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
Yeah, we're view.
I say I know. I know it. Pretty sure if you copied that into
Yeah.
a Word document, it would read it. On the other hand, now logically here, you've translated it. You're using or combination of subtitles translation.
Mm-hmm.
Where would the immersive reader come in handy?
Yeah.
It would have to be read to it. I thought the immersive reader was available throughout.
I thought so. That's a very good question. And I'm going to admit that I'm not sure where the immersive reader is in this particular. I thought it was in the reading view. And it just goes there. Huh. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we check this out, find out?
I already put a note here to check this out. It's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you. And I mean, we don't know. That's basically it, I guess. And now notice it's the subtitles are popping up down below. I'm going to end that. What's happening?
So
Again,
the subtitles were also in Spanish.
yes, you can do that. You can hit slideshow, and
Right.
if you go over here and start subtitles and click on that, it allows you to select the language here.
Okay, so you could say subtitles in English,
Yes, you can.
and the slide is in Spanish.
Yes, yes, you can have it in English. Oops, I'm beyond that. Yeah. No. For some reason it does this. Okay, and then sometimes it goes away, and then you get this stupid thing. And if you are doing this and this happens, just end the show and start it again. Okay? It sometimes adds a slide to the beginning. And I'm not sure if it did it here. Yeah, it did. Notice here? It added that Translate,
Right.
Microsoft Translator slide to the beginning. And that's from the slideshow, this portion over here, the Microsoft Translator. Okay? Anyhow, but leave the webinar. No, 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 no. I don't want to do that. I almost canceled the whole webinar, Raj. Don't want to do that. Anyhow, it's just a nice thing that, some people may find it useful.
I think it might be fun for students to play with.
Yeah, also with the
Like you mentioned, second language,
subtitles, the subtitles, I don't know, would that be ADA compatible? I don't know. Because it would put whatever you're saying down below. It's not just what's on the slides. So if there was anybody who is, had hearing difficulties, they'd be able to see it just like in a video. So that's kind of cool. Hey, okay. Is that, well, we're off to a crashing start. Whatever. Okay, we get rid of that. Hey, Raj, my next slide, oh boy. See that? This is something for you, okay? I ran into a site that I loved this week, believe it or not, because I use graphics a lot. And I'm not sure how teachers could have used it, so I was thinking. But I came up with a stupid reason. But this is a really interesting site that might have some kind of motivational implications. Many times when we're doing things in class, I've seen assignments where students have to talk about a country or a place, a city they're visiting, or even an animal or something like that. And maybe they're even creating a PowerPoint or something like that. But the only thing that's missing from the show is them. Okay? And notice now we have, for example, a picture. I think that's Disney World, isn't it, Raj? Supposedly.
I don't think it's Fantasy Island. Yeah. I'm going with Disney World.
Yeah, anyhow, I ran across
off, but yeah,
a site that might be interesting because, let's see what we have here. I have, if I may, and I'm not sure I saved this. By the way, here's another thing. This is my granddaughter, by the way, a picture of my granddaughter. Okay? By the way, this is an app called Adobe Photoshop Express. It has just shown up on the Windows Store, and it's free. If you are a person who likes to play with videos or your images, your photographs, and so forth, you might want to try it. Take a look at it, download it, and see if it can help you. It's gotten some very good reviews, and I just downloaded it this afternoon and started playing with it, and it looks pretty good. But anyhow, what if I said, hey, look, my granddaughter, what if I want her in Disney World. Okay? Well, that's pretty weird. But what you can do, and I found a website, and if I may, let me start a website here. This is a very difficult one to remember. remove.bg. It's called Remove the Background. This is very weird. Now, if you do this, there is a site that is really interesting. You select a photo. Now, I've set it up so it would be a little easier, I hope. This is that photograph of my granddaughter. So, and now it'll show that for a second. There's my Look at that. It removes the background. Now I'm just going to copy this image. Okay, now this is going to look kind of weird at the beginning. And hopefully, if everything goes right.
Big girl.
Yeah, she is. Now you have to play with this now a bit. Yeah. And I found out that sometimes it works, and what you can do is, and you know what it is, I have my screen over it. You can minimize this young lady. I hope it works. Why is it not? It's doing that one instead of the wrong one. Yeah, and it's because I've got the webinar running.
Oh, yeah, we run into that, don't we?
Yeah, it's the webinar. But what you can then do is take this, I hope, and minimize her. There we go. And hopefully, oh shoot, what am I doing? To the point where, my daughter is at Disney World.
Well, that can save a lot of money.
But no, I was thinking that, I was trying to think of, if just for a motivational thing, if, like you did, hey, my favorite city, if you gave the students a country to look up, or a city or something like that, even an animal, put a picture of the animal in, take a picture of the student, go to remove.bg, remove background. It'll remove the background. You can put the student right into the picture. And that way, it'll kind of add a little something to the presentation for the students. I thought that was kind of a cool little thing. I know that for many of us, when we've been doing like PowerPoints and we have a colored background and then we take a picture and put it in, we get a white block around it, the white square. Trying to remove that background is difficult. Remove.bg. It does it very easy. I will say this. I tried it with a picture of something other than a human being, so to speak, a picture of a person, and it said there has to be a picture of a person in there.
Oh.
And I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. I tried, my desktop has the parrot on it, and I took it up there, and it said, that's not a person. Forget it. Yeah, it didn't want to do it. But anyhow, I just thought that might be a cool thing, might be something that, that the kids could play with. Or maybe you would want to do that with something that, if you're...
Yeah, I've been messing around a lot with green screen.
Yes, that kind of thing.
And, it's... Some of this is going on with that because of the green screen effect and stuff.
Yes.
I'm brainstorming silently here where I could maybe do something with this.
Yeah, and it's so simple, as you can see. All you have to do, if I may, just go back to that site. It's called remove.bg, remove background. And it's that quick. It asks you to upload the picture. Boom, it's done. You can download the picture, as you can see there. You can just copy paste it, and it's pretty good. You'll notice that if I can show you, it wasn't quite 1,000. Yeah, well, it was pretty darn good right down at the bottom. Well, that little leaf in front of the boot, whatever. But whatever, it's pretty darn good. I think it's as good as there is a background remover in Office 365 on some of their.
Oh, I've messed with a lot, like Adobe and Photoshop, and you're trying to trace and remove. And,
that is it so much faster.
Stuff like that. Oh my gosh!
As long as it's a person,
That's interesting. Got to be a person. That's
It did. Yeah, it did when I tried to take the parrot up there. It said no. And again, it's free. I don't know if they're capturing all your details and so forth and so on.
Or select a URL. Select a photo or a URL.
An image or a URL, yeah. Yeah, well, that's interesting. I never, you know what? I have not tried that. I saw the photo and went, whoa. It was on one of the blogs that, we get. And I tried it, and I thought, it was kind of fun.
It is.
Yeah, but again, I thought, again, if
so where did Adobe Photoshop Express come in?
About 2 weeks ago, I saw, and again in one of the articles that we get online, that it was coming and it was going to be free. And if I may, today. What's happening is my granddaughter's down here from Michigan, and I am cast out of my spare room with my good computer, so I'm on my Surface Pro stuffed in my bedroom tonight, and it did not have a photo program on it, so I remembered from a couple of weeks ago the Adobe, and I went on, and it is available now, and it's actually pretty good. It might be worth a look. It's right here, and it has a lot of implications too, and again, it's very simple. I mean, you've got the color and the.
So that photograph for Remove BG didn't have to come through.
No.
Oh.
I just brought it in there because I needed a paint shop or a program to show the original photo.
But you could have shown any photo though.
Oh, sure.
Right? Okay. It doesn't have to come through the photo.
No. You don't.
Oh.
If you don't want, they're two completely separate things.
Okay, you could have just uploaded your granddaughter's picture.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Now, I just wanted to show it beforehand, to show the background beforehand. To show, with all the leaves and all that stuff or whatever was there. Anyhow, but it does look like it might have some implications, so, you can. I'm just popping on a few. Whoa, don't want to do that. But again, it, you can even just click on I'm clicking on the left side, and then you can play with different things there.
Now, is this web-based, or is this you installed this?
I did install this, and it was on my personal computer. I don't know if you can install it on your school computers. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, but it does look like a decent thing, and if it's good, that brings up maybe we should try to get it for teachers who would be able to use it on their school computers. I think it might be a good little app that could be used. But anyhow, there's that. Okay, Raj, would you like to talk for a while? I kind of confused everybody here with the PowerPoint and the Remove BG. So I have a lot of other weird stuff.
Well, we'll be getting back to it then.
Let me give it to you for a while. Okay.
I'm just going to play around with some stuff here.
Yeah, it's a good night for that. There you go, sir.
So we're looking at my screen, which we determined earlier is your basic screen. Where to begin? Let's see. I'm not sure when oh, okay, there's that. There's that. I wanted to talk about a couple of things going on. First of all, I hope everyone had a terrific Christmas and are off to a roaring start of the new year. And this is kind of a little all over the place, starting with going back. What you're looking at is an excerpt of a passage from my own personal tradition of reading to myself and boring the heck out of my family if they're in the vehicle with me. Dylan Thomas reads his classic A Child's Christmas in Wales, and I listened to it. Gene, you got something going on there?
Not that I know of. Why?
I'm hearing clicking all over the place.
Not that I know of. In fact, I'll tell you what.
Let's see. Did oh,
you know what? I wonder if I have a cord here, and I wonder if it's not rattling. Okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah, thank you for asking, and I'll mute myself just in case.
Okay. Well, it was just I didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah. I think it might be a cord rattling here, and I'll double check that.
All right. Thanks. Okay. I think that was it. Back, Child's Christmas in Wales. It's a reading by and the recording that I have that I play traditionally, and like I say, drive my family nuts, is of Dylan Thomas himself reading it. And fast forward to one of my, well, the whole thing is fantastic language if you're into that kind of thing. But what I did was there's a passage in there. He talks about useful presents and useless presents. So I wanted to, this all came about today when I was had some family over to the house talking about useless presents. And this is a techie thing from Christmas this year. And also the question came up a little bit a while ago dealing with the PowerPoint and the immersive reader and so on. So in addition to where I'm going with this, yes, the immersive reader can take passages like this, and they're improving it all the time and making it more and more user-friendly. If I wanted to just simply hear this read, of course, it wouldn't be Dylan Thomas reading it in his incredible accent and pacing and so on, but it could be read to a student, or just listen to it being read yourself by simply going into the immersive reader. As we know, you just go to view the immersive reader, and it takes that passage, whatever was on the active palette there, and takes the entire passage, and an error has occurred. And I don't think it really did. If we go here and read it, take the next tip and so on, you go down and click the passage where you want it to begin. That's not where I'm headed with this. Now this seems to be stuck on the error here. I don't know what to do. Gene, you may be taking this back very quickly. Let's see. Let me get out of that. I have to go back into the OneNote that got hung up there. I wanted to hear. We got back real. Thanks. I could hear you about to hit the enter key there. So anyway, he talks about Christmas in Wales, and it's all about memory and so on of Christmases past. Think back to your own childhood. What we seem to have fond memories of white Christmases and so on. And Dylan Thomas takes us through that whole thing. But then he starts talking about, in some incredible language, the types of presents that they received. And what I'm doing here now, I'm going to scroll down to one of the, there might be some debate whether this is useless or useful. It really is kind of an odd thing that I and a couple of my grandsons received. Was I'm going to, with this picture, I think I can go into picture mode, and I want to show this. You're looking at a picture of a coffee mug, but it is not just a coffee mug. It is electronic. Now, I'm sure you've seen coffee warmers, little saucers that you put a mug on that keeps a cup of coffee or a beverage warm on your desktop and so on. This mug here is, well, it's called an ember mug. Kind of like, think of a glowing ember. And I want to go, let's go to the home here. If I click on this, the picture, I wanted to blow it up a little bit. You can see it's a coffee mug, but on the bottom of the mug, there's a little tiny LED light. And what you do with this is, and I'm doing this for a couple of purposes here. One with the idea of the theme here being something being useless or versus useful. The coffee mug is called an ember, and it is connected by Bluetooth to an app on your phone. I can stretch it this way. There we go. And here's the mug. I'll just drag this a little bit here. There's the mug itself. Down on the base of it here, there's a little bit of an LED, and then you have the app on your phone. What is clever about this app is that it keeps your beverage at a precise temperature throughout your drinking of it, and it goes anywhere from up to 145 degrees, but you charge it up. So you take it with you throughout the house, probably or the office, or possibly your classroom if you drink coffee in your classroom or have a warm beverage, or at lunchtime or so on. But it keeps it at the temperature that you set in the app. I'm going to take you down a little further. Here's the, if I had it in front of me right now, and I don't because it's charging, it would register that 138 degrees. The default is 135, but this is a sliding scale here that you can slide to the right a little bit or to the left to adjust the temperature to taste. And the curious thing about this whole thing, Gene, and it really, I think, it really is the funny thing about it is, and I show this all the time, is when your cup is empty, this is what shows up on your iPhone.
Oh, jeez.
It tells you your cup is now empty. I think a modification might be if it tell you it's half full or it's half empty.
Yes.
But it does. It goes. It glows this color here. I guess that's where they get the ember and that. And then when it's all done, and I can verify this, I could show you the empty cup and the mug at the same time, that it is indeed empty, which is ridiculous.
If it's spilled, does it say your cup runneth over?
No, it will tell you when it's empty. I want it to tell me it's half full. You're halfway down. They also sell one for like a travel mug.
Oh, cool.
Version. And my son, one of my boys, thought, what do you give the guy who's crazy about technology? I guess you give him a Bluetooth coffee mug, and he'll be happy for the rest of his life. And so far, I am. I can change to, Celsius and so on. I can get notifications. The funniest thing was when I first got it, I had to update the firmware of my mug when I plugged it in on Bluetooth. So it's always connected. It was kind of a technology-driven Christmas. I also have one of those doorbell viewer things now.
Oh,
so wherever I am, I get a little blip on my
Mm-hmm.
phone and on my wristwatch that motion was detected at my front door.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so I can wave to the mailman, I guess, or I can speak to him, actually. I'm anxious to
Mm-hmm.
see if this works from afar when we take off on our trip shortly. But I thought this was kind of fun. In addition to playing around with all the tools here in my OneNote and so on. One of the other things I really wanted to focus on a little bit, and from our the webinar before Christmas, which was back on the 16th of
Yeah, I believe so.
December, we got a lot of feedback on people really liking the stuff that we were doing with the stylus. Some people were not aware of it. Some people were, but hadn't used it very much. But again, we got some positive feedback on that, and I wanted to. I think I don't know if I go down one more page. Maybe it was up above. Yeah, I think it was over here. This is what we showed last time. Demonstrating the stylus itself, and I was messing around with it a little more recently. I was going to add a page, and one of the things I also, and I'm going to jump off just a little bit here. I'm going to go to the my OneNote here. Maybe I'll come back again, reminding you that we're looking at two versions of OneNote. We're looking at the online version, and we're looking at OneNote 2.16, which is the installed version. And let's go back down here and look at navigation here. What I wanted to take a look at here, up here with our views here, we can choose, and I'm talking about navigating within your OneNote. Here are, by example, my various OneNote notebooks. It will display some, and then it will, if I have quite a few more here that I can go and take a look at, and I can manage there as well. So this is the one that's highlighted is the one that I'm looking at here. And then what I wanted to do, go into the view here. We go over to the navigation panes. This is something that I kind of wish I had known at the outset, but getting it discovered maybe helps me remember it better. I'm not so sure. But we talk about the navigation panes. The navigation panes are what you're looking at here. These are all of, again, I'll just go back here. Here are all your notebooks. You pick the notebook that you want to look at, and here are the sections within the notebook. And then one more panel over here, you see the pages within the highlighted section of the notebook that you're working on. There has been some discussion and requests from Microsoft as to how do I go about and organize. Notice they're not in any discernible order here. They start off with quick notes. And if you work with OneNote, you know that you are working with quick notes is a section, kind of like a catch-all, a default general folder where things go if you don't direct them to a particular section. But if I wanted to, I want as much screen as possible here. I go to the tab that says navigation panes, and I can show all. I can show just the sections and pages. I can show just pages, or I can hide everything. And now I have a full palette here to work with. Sometimes, everything gets a little bit busy if you're just simply working with a bunch of all of the panes open here. Oh, that might be fine if you're searching for something or working with a passage, etc. But again, use the navigation panes to decide, okay, this is kind of like using the ribbon, like when Gene was showing us in the PowerPoint, he went to the reader view, which is just basically it blows up the whole page, so you have almost like a life-size version of the page or the screen or the slide that you're working on if it's within PowerPoint and so on. So again, navigating within OneNote, show everything, show sections and pages, and then your live canvas over here. If you only want to show the pages, that's here, or you can hide everything and get the full screen here. This might be something you would want to do if you're working maybe in front of a classroom or working with a student. You don't want all of that clutter off to the left. One other thing, I'm going to go back to show all. See what's going on here? This is in one version of Notebook and not the other. This is a preview pane. If you notice at the bottom here, it says show page previews. It's very likely that you would have more pages than you would overall sections. The pages take their name. Let me just go back to show only pages. The pages take their name from what is described up here. I'm going to move this over to the left a little bit. Every time you start a new page, this is blank, and then there's a date. I'm going to start a page here. Here's the date, and note this is blank. It would say new page or untitled page until you give it a title. So let's call this webinar, and notice what I type here appears here. And now when I put some content here, I'm going to do this a little different because I also wanted to show something else real quick here. I'm going to start using the stylus. I'm going to go into the drawing tab, and let's pick, let's go with the red, might show up better. We're going to write, let's call it ink to text. Now, I'm not sure that's going to come out right, but and we talked about this last time. Now, I used a stylus that is from my school district laptop, and if you look very closely on the stylus, I didn't mention this last time when we were talking about it. If you twirl the stylus around a little bit, you'll see two little buttons. They are a right and a left click button on the barrel of the stylus. And I'm just touching it and so on. But now I'm going to go into the different mode here. We demonstrated this last time, but I'll show you where I'm going next. I click on the lasso tab. That's up here in the upper left hand under insert, then the middle option, and it's a lasso. I take all of what I had just written and hope that when I touch on the ink to text, it works, and you can see it did. This is, again, taking what I wrote by my hand. If it recognizes it, last time you saw it on a previous screen, it didn't quite recognize the text, probably from my scrawly handwriting, and it's in an unusual kind of position. I'm writing on a vertical screen where you're usually writing, off a flat desktop and so on. There is another type of, it's called, I go in shapes, and I noticed I touched on the shapes tab, and now I'm going to say I want that kind of a shape. So I'm just simply dragging my stylus, and it's drawing a square or a rectangle following the little crosshairs around the screen. I'm going to go back to the Draw tab, and I'm going to attempt this. This wasn't working 100% earlier. I'm going to just simply draw a square, and then I'm going to take the lasso and see if it will do ink to shape, and sometimes it was working earlier. If I just start to roughly draw a shape, it would recognize it as a square or a rectangle and magically create the shape that looks, similar to all of this here. And why it's not, I'm not sure. Let's try it again. Let's try ink to shape here. I've already got, there it goes. The procedure was just tell it ahead of time I'm doing ink to shape. So now I'm going to draw just freehand a square here, and it should recognize the shape it didn't there. It did with that. There we go. As long as it's there, I connect the lines and so on. A couple of options, again, we talked about this last time, was using this to return student work to them. If they submit work within OneNote or within your Teams application, then you go ahead and use your inking tool, and you can write them. Just simply pick a stylus, and now I'm not even doing ink to shape. I'm just saying, good work, Bobby, or whatever it happens to be. So they get the feedback just as though they'd submitted a paper assignment to you. One of the other things we were talking about, actually, I want to do the Gina. If we take a minute, we still have a couple of minutes here. I want to launch a poll. This is only slightly related to what we're talking about. Later in the school year, perhaps, well, we're not sure yet, we're going to be doing a survey of teachers, and I thought with the fairly consistent audience we seem to have for our webinars, I'd like to get some feedback. Now, I know some of you are veteran users, but I want to start 2 polls here tonight, and we'll just talk about them briefly. I want to pick a poll. This is, when did you start using Microsoft Office 365? One of the measures that the school district is looking at is how many users do we have from the start of this year versus not ever using it with their classroom prior to the start of September. And in fact, I'd even say if you are a user through any of the workshops this summer. So I want to start this poll. It's just a simple, it's going to go out to you in a second when I launch it. It's going to go out and just simply respond to the poll, if you would, by clicking one of the appropriate answers. I'm going to launch it. And if you would, please just respond on your screen with your mouse or your finger if you're on a touch screen. And I'm looking at the responses here. So we've got.
Are there some people on tablets who cannot respond? As I remember before.
That was an issue. It's possible. Well,
and if there is, send us a comment.
GoToWebinar might have overcome that. I'm not sure. I know. Yeah, like who's doing it on an iPad, perhaps. Mm-hmm. There's a question right there. Dave's on his tablet, and it worked.
Okay.
That's good. Okay.
Good to hear.
So we have everybody has. Okay, let's see. I'm going to close the poll, and I'm going to share it out. And I can't see it. I don't know. Can you see it, Gene?
Yes, I can. 50%. I used Office 365 last year. 25%. I used Office 365 this summer, and 25% this school year.
Okay. So I would take that. So half the people are relatively new users with that. And this is similar to the poll, I think, that's going to go out. One of the things that the district has been charged with, I think either with a grant or something from the state, is increase the use of some of these digital tools. And it's something like this will be going out to the teachers. Basically, the key figure is who are the new users. So this would say roughly half of the people taking them started this year. And now there's one more poll I want to
Okay.
show, and it's, you know, so let's see. I'm going to hide that. I'm going to pick another poll. This is about the various apps, and you can indicate all the ones that you use.
Okay.
And just put a little, I think you can indicate, put a check mark or click the box. We'll see. Everybody uses Microsoft Word. Predictable. Not very many use Sway. We have about 2/3 of the people, roughly. Results are changing. This is something maybe, we maybe play with this a little bit more.
Okay.
I think this is good feedback for us between forms. We've done forms in the past and sent them out. Okay, very few people are using Sway. I'm going to close and I'm going to share the results.
Yeah. Can you see that, Raj?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it in like the little grid.
Okay.
I can see that.
Okay. Then.
Yeah, everybody uses Word in some fashion. I would be thinking more, with students as well. Not real surprising. With Sway is interesting, but more people are using like PowerPoint than Sway.
Yeah.
Forms, a bit more people have been playing with that. But again, we have a kind of a limited audience here for 15 people, or actually 13, 15 if you include you and I, who use all of these in some fashion. Interesting, Teams and OneNote. So I'd say that, we have more progress to be made with all of that here. Well, that's kind of it. So thank you for participating with that. It's kind of like a straw poll. I want to get some idea of what these results might look like. I would have guessed Microsoft Word, and I'm not sure if I would have been right on with even PowerPoint, less than half.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. So that's gone. I know, Gene, we only got about 5 minutes. Have you had a couple of...
I have one little thing that maybe that might be of interest.
Yeah. I think I covered everything with the navigation.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Whatnot.
Right.
So let me...
yeah.
I got to go to sharing and give it back to you real quick for... There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I just have my desktop showing. Just read an article the other day that Windows 10 is now the #1 operating system for computers. It's taken over from Microsoft 7. And the latest update last fall had a few good things in it. We've talked about it, but I just thought, well, if we have a few minutes, I'd like to show you one thing that you will have if you did the update, and if you didn't, you can go to the store and get it. And some of you may remember this little article, this little guy right here. It's called a snipping tool. And the snipping tool is really a useful little device. And what it was you could cut a picture, make a picture of a portion or your entire screen, okay? Simply by clicking on New and doing that. Well, I mean, it was a great little tool, and it is a great little tool, but it's been updated, and I'm not going to save it. There is a new one now. It's called Snip and Sketch, and it is part I think it was part of, I don't even remember the number, the October, November update, but it works much the same way, but it has a lot of improvements, makes it a lot easier to use. And if you just, for example, if you click on new, you get a little thing at the top now where you can select the form. Do you want a rectangular clip? Do you want a freeform clip? Do you want the full screen clip? I'm just going to do this just to show again what we can do. If you do that, there it is. There it is. Now, that's the same as the old snipping tool, but now you'll notice that what they've done is they've put the tools, many of the tools, right along the top to make it a lot easier for you. For example, if you want to touch right, okay, I think that'll work. Let me get a color here. I didn't get a color. Okay. Okay, and you can actually write with, I'm just writing with my finger. Okay, you can use the pens and so forth. Here's the highlighter, the erase, of course. There is a ruler and a protractor. And what's really nice is if you do a snip and you make it too big or too, you add it in too much, you can crop right inside it, okay? And then you just click on the OK here, and you've cropped it. Very, very simple. Makes it a lot easier. And again, here is, what are those things, Raj? Do you remember what those things really were, that little icon there? The little floppy disks. That's the save, okay? You can save it by clicking here. And you don't have to do the go over here to file, save as, and so forth. You just click it here. This is the copy command. Now I've copied it. I can paste it in another program. Here is the share. There's also, you can open it in a Adobe. Remember that we talked about, if you want, by clicking it open with, you can print it. It's all set up right across the top. Makes it a lot more convenient. So if you don't have that, let me just cancel that. If you're not sure if you have that, let me continue. Goodbye. You can go to your programs, go to the letter S. If Snip and Sketch right here is not there, you can go to the Microsoft Store and do a search for, I think it'll pop in real quick, and I know we're almost out of time, Snip and Sketch right here, and download the app. And you can, use it. And it is very, very useful for getting pictures from a part of your screen or the entire screen if you want. And with that, I think we've run out of time, Raj. It's 9 o'clock, and whatever we had left, we'll have to wait till next week. But
okay.
And I want to, thank you, and I want to thank everybody for joining us. Hope you'll join us next week. If there's any feedback, please let us know. If there's anything that you can, you'd like us to look up. I did a little quick research on the PowerPoint Immersive Reader, and really nothing is coming up. You know what? I'm wondering if Immersive Reader is involved in PowerPoint yet. I know it's in Word and things like that, but I'm wondering if it's
I'm trying to think of how it would be useful.
Yeah,
when we were talking about that earlier, I'm trying to, what would this look like?
But on the other hand, if you had that slide with all of that text, you've translated it that quickly, copy it, paste it into Word, and then you could use the Immersive Reader. Put it into a Word document. And so that would work. I mean, there's always ways around. And with that, we're going to say goodnight. Raj, thank you, and we'll hopefully see you next week. And have a great week, everybody.
Okay. Good night, all.